All right, so
Yeah.
imagine like a golden age in ancient Egypt,
Okay.
but not the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
We're going past the pyramids and King Tut.
Right.
Today's deep dive takes us to the Middle Kingdom,
Mm.
a period of rebirth and innovation smack dab between the more famous old and new kingdoms.
Okay.
We've got a fascinating article all about it.
Okay.
Perfect if you're into ancient history or just curious how civilizations bounce back after tough times.
You're in for a treat.
Okay.
The Middle Kingdom, spanning roughly 2040 to 1550 BCE.
Okay.
It's often overlooked, but it's a pivotal chapter in Egyptian history.
Okay.
We'll be exploring the reigns of powerful pharaohs, political maneuvering that would put modern-day politics to shame,
Oh, wow.
and a cultural renaissance that rivals any in history.
So paint the picture for us.
Okay.
What was going on in Egypt around 2040 BCE?
Well, imagine this.
Okay.
The old kingdom with its iconic pyramids has collapsed.
Right.
Egypt is in shambles, divided.
Wow.
And frankly, things are looking pretty bleak. But then, from the city of Thebes, rises a leader who changes everything. Mentuhotep II?
I did do it at the second.
Yeah.
The name sounds familiar, but refresh my memory.
Right.
What made him so special?
He was more than just a warrior king.
Hmm.
He was a brilliant strategist and a unifying force.
Okay.
He didn't just conquer his rivals.
Right.
He implemented policies to bring stability and prosperity back to Egypt.
So he was rebuilding the entire system, not just grabbing power.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Think about the challenges.
Yeah.
Reestablishing control over territories like Nubia and the Sinai Peninsula,
Okay.
jumpstarting the economy and restoring faith in the pharaoh's authority.
Mm-hmm.
He had to win over the people, not just defeat his enemies.
The article mentions he also revived trade with this far-off land called Punt.
Yeah,
What was that all about?
that's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Punt was known for exotic goods, like incense, ebony, and even gold.
Wow.
By reestablishing trade, Mentuhotep II wasn't just boosting the economy,
Right.
he was making a statement. He was showing the world that Egypt was back and ready to engage on the international stage.
So this wasn't just about accumulating wealth.
Yeah.
It was about projecting power and influence.
Exactly.
Okay, so Mentuhotep II gets things back on track.
Yeah.
What happens next in this Egyptian comeback story?
The Middle Kingdom sees a shift toward a more centralized government,
Okay.
consolidating power in the hands of the pharaoh. But what's intriguing is the emergence of a key figure, the vizier.
Oh, yeah, the vizier.
Yeah.
Weren't they like the pharaoh's right-hand man?
More like the pharaoh's Swiss Army knife.
Okay.
They were responsible for a mind-boggling array of tasks.
Wow.
Imagine managing massive construction projects, overseeing the legal system, and keeping the tax revenue flowing,
Right.
all while trying to stay on the pharaoh's good side.
That sounds like a recipe for stress.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that much power in one person be risky?
Yeah.
What's to stop a vizier from trying to usurp the pharaoh?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the complexities of power in the Middle Kingdom.
Right.
The pharaohs weren't naive.
Right.
They implemented systems to keep the viziers in check.
Okay.
For example, sometimes there were two viziers, one for Upper Egypt and one for Lower Egypt.
Okay.
A bit of healthy competition, if you will.
Divide and conquer even within your own administration.
Exactly.
Smart.
Yeah.
So who are some of the standout pharaohs we should know about from this era?
Mm,
The 12th dynasty, right?
absolutely. The
Yeah.
12th dynasty is where the Middle Kingdom really hits its stride.
Okay.
You've got Amenemhat, a shrewd strategist who knew how to play the political game.
Hmm.
He understood the importance of symbolism
Right.
and made a bold move by moving the capital to a new location.
Why would he do that?
Well,
Was the old capital not fancy enough?
it was a power play.
Okay.
The old capital was associated with the previous dynasty and the fragmented past.
Hmm.
By establishing a new capital, Amenemhat, I was signaling a fresh start, a unified kingdom under his control. And he didn't stop there.
Oh.
He created a standing army loyal to him personally,
Hmm.
effectively limiting the power of the regional governors who had caused so much trouble in the past.
Ah. So he was cutting off any potential rivals at the knees before they could even get started.
Exactly.
Clever.
Yeah.
What about his successors?
Well,
Did they follow his lead?
Senusret III was another powerhouse of the 12th dynasty.
Okay.
He focused on solidifying Egypt's southern border with Nubia,
Okay.
establishing a series of forts to mark the boundary and keep things secure.
So they weren't just focused on internal affairs. They were
Mhm.
projecting their power outwards as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
Senusret III understood that a secure Egypt required a strong military presence both at home and abroad.
Okay.
His campaigns extended Egyptian influence into neighboring regions, demonstrating the growing might of the Middle Kingdom.
It's fascinating how this period tends to get overshadowed by the pyramid building of the Old Kingdom and the empire building of the New
Mm.
Kingdom. But it seems like the Middle Kingdom was much more than just a bridge between two more famous eras.
You're hitting the nail on the head.
Okay.
The Middle Kingdom was a time of innovation and prosperity,
Okay.
a period when the Egyptians were not just rebuilding, but truly flourishing.
Right.
And we haven't even touched on their incredible advancements in areas like agriculture.
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Ancient Egyptians and agriculture,
Yeah.
I'm all ears.
Well, hold on to your hats because they weren't just planting crops. They
Ah.
were reshaping the landscape.
Wow.
These were master engineers who took on a monumental task, draining the Fayum Basin.
What was the Fayum Basin?
Imagine a vast, swampy area,
Okay.
practically unusable for farming.
Right.
The Middle Kingdom pharaohs saw an opportunity. They devised an ingenious system of canals and dikes to drain the basin, transforming it into fertile farmland.
Wow. Talk about thinking big.
Yeah.
That's a serious engineering feat, especially for that time period.
Absolutely.
So they had a stable government, a powerful military.
Yeah.
And they were literally creating new farmland.
Exactly.
What else was going on in the Middle Kingdom that we should know about?
This is where things get really exciting.
Okay.
The Middle Kingdom experienced a cultural renaissance that rivals any in history.
Hmm.
We see a flourishing of art, architecture, and most notably, literature.
Literature.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just hieroglyphs on tomb walls anymore.
Exactly.
No.
The development of Middle Egyptian as a literary language opens a whole new world.
Wow.
Think stories, poems, wisdom literature,
Wow.
even what we might call ancient Egyptian self-help guides,
Right.
all written in this new form of the language.
It's self-help guides.
Yeah.
Like how to live your best life ancient Egyptian style.
Exactly.
Tell me more.
Well, imagine reading something like The Instructions of Amenemhat,
Okay.
a collection of wisdom teachings offering advice on everything from social etiquette to ethical conduct.
It's like a window into the values and beliefs of everyday Egyptians.
Precisely. It gives us a glimpse into what they considered a virtuous life.
Wow.
And then there's the story of Senusret, a captivating adventure tale about an Egyptian official who flees the country and lives among foreigners. It's almost like an ancient Egyptian travel blog.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
A culture that valued storytelling, moral guidance, and perhaps even a bit of wanderlust.
It seems like it.
It seems like writing became more widespread during this time, not just for official records.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
We see evidence of writing being used in various contexts, from personal letters to literary works. This suggests a more literate society where writing played a larger role in daily life.
Okay.
The Middle Kingdom was truly a time when Egyptian culture was blossoming.
But every golden age has its sunset, right?
Yeah.
What led to the decline of the Middle Kingdom?
Well, even the most successful civilizations faced challenges.
Right.
Internal strife and political maneuvering began to weaken the 12th dynasty. And then there's the fascinating but ultimately tragic reign of Sobekneferu.
Sobekneferu.
Yeah.
Tell me more about her.
Sobekneferu was the first confirmed female pharaoh of Egypt.
Wow, a female pharaoh.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
A remarkable figure in a patriarchal society.
What was her reign like?
Unfortunately, her reign was relatively short. Her death marked a turning point, ushering in a period of instability
Right.
and paving the way for the arrival of a new power on the scene. The Hyksos.
The Hyksos.
Yeah.
That name rings the bell.
Right.
Weren't they the ones who brought chariots to Egypt?
That's right.
Okay.
The Hyksos, a mysterious group from the Levant, conquered parts of Egypt,
Wow.
bringing an end to the Middle Kingdom and ushering in a period known as the Second Intermediate Period. Their arrival would change the course of Egyptian history.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Who were these Hyksos?
Right.
Were they just ruthless invaders? Or is there more to their story? And how did the Egyptians react to their arrival?
Yeah.
We've got so much more to uncover.
Indeed we do.
Okay.
The Hyksos' arrival and their impact on Egypt is a fascinating chapter in itself,
Yeah.
but we'll have to save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back to our deep dive into ancient Egypt's Middle Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get to those mysterious Hyksos and the shakeup they caused,
Right.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier
Okay.
about the Middle Kingdom pharaohs.
Yeah.
Not just being obsessed with pyramids and tombs.
Yeah, we were talking about how they were almost like ancient city planners.
Yeah,
With that incredible project of draining the Fayum Basin.
absolutely.
What's interesting to me is how that shows a different side to their leadership.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just about grand displays of power
Right.
or focusing on the afterlife.
Right.
The Middle Kingdom pharaohs were also pragmatic rulers concerned with the well-being of their people
Yes.
in this life.
In this life.
Creating fertile farmland like that
Yeah.
would have had a huge impact on their ability to feed the population and build a stable economy.
Absolutely.
So these pharaohs were more than just warrior kings or religious figures.
Right.
They were also administrators, problem solvers,
Yeah.
almost like CEOs managing a complex organization.
I like that comparison.
Yeah.
They were dealing with complex issues like infrastructure resource management
Right.
and the needs of a growing population.
And speaking of the people, let's talk about religion.
Okay.
We haven't really touched on the spiritual beliefs of the Middle Kingdom Egyptians yet.
Right. Let's explore that side of their culture.
Did their religious practices change much compared to the Old Kingdom?
There were some interesting shifts.
Okay.
While the core pantheon of gods like Osiris, Horus, and Isis remained central,
Sure.
certain deities gained prominence,
Okay.
especially those connected with the underworld and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth.
Any gods in particular?
Osiris, the god of the underworld, became increasingly popular. His myth, which involves death and resurrection, resonated deeply with the Egyptians' beliefs about the afterlife.
It makes sense considering their elaborate mummification practices.
Right.
And those incredible tombs filled with everything you'd need for the afterlife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Middle Kingdom saw a refinement of funerary practices. Tombs became even more elaborate, filled with provisions for the deceased.
Wow.
Food, furniture, and even those little figurines called ushabtis.
Oh, yeah, the ushabtis.
Yeah,
Those were supposed to come to life and do chores for you in the afterlife, right?
that's the idea.
Wow.
They were meant to perform any tasks required of the deceased in the afterlife, leaving them free to enjoy their eternal existence.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
But was this afterlife luxury cruise just for the pharaohs and the elite?
right.
What about the average Egyptian?
While the most elaborate tombs were indeed reserved for the wealthy and powerful,
Okay.
we find evidence that even commoners were given some level of burial preparation and provided with grave goods. Though on a much smaller scale,
Right.
it seems the desire for a comfortable afterlife extended throughout Egyptian society.
So this belief in the afterlife was a powerful force shaping their worldview,
Yes.
regardless of social status.
Exactly.
What about those literary works we were discussing earlier?
Right.
Did those reflect their religious beliefs as well?
They offer valuable insights into their moral and spiritual values. The instructions of Amenemhat, for example,
Okay.
isn't just a collection of practical advice.
Right.
It also emphasizes virtues like honesty, compassion, and humility,
Right.
qualities that were seen as essential for a successful afterlife.
So it's like a self-help book with an internal twist.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Be good now and it'll pay off in the afterlife.
I like that.
And the story of Senusret,
Okay.
while being an adventure tale,
Right.
also explores themes of exile, redemption, and the importance of one's homeland, both physically and spiritually.
Interesting.
These stories weren't just entertainment. They were a way to explore profound questions about life, death, and the human condition.
It seems like the Middle Kingdom was a time of intense intellectual and spiritual exploration,
Yeah.
not just political stability and economic prosperity.
Right.
They were grappling with big questions about morality, justice, and the meaning of life.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder if the chaos and instability of the first intermediate period that preceded the Middle Kingdom
Yeah.
played a role in shaping this mindset.
That's a fascinating point.
Yeah.
Perhaps experiencing that fragmentation and upheaval led them to re-examine their values and search for deeper meaning.
Makes sense.
And speaking of upheavals, we can't forget about the Hyksos, their invasion,
Right.
while marking the end of the Middle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Also introduced new ideas and technologies that would have a lasting impact on Egypt.
Right. We were talking about their chariots and advanced weapons.
Right.
How did these innovations change the game for the Egyptians?
Yeah.
Did they just get steamrolled by this new technology?
It certainly put them at a disadvantage initially, but the Egyptians weren't just going to sit back and accept defeat.
Right.
The Hyksos' military superiority forced them to adapt and innovate.
Okay.
They had to learn new ways of fighting,
Right.
new strategies to counter the chariot-based warfare that the Hyksos had brought with them.
So they had to up their game, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
The Hyksos' arrival, while disruptive, ultimately pushed the Egyptians to develop their own military capabilities.
It's a reminder that sometimes progress and innovation
Yeah.
can come from unexpected sources,
Right.
even from those who might seem like enemies.
Absolutely.
And it also highlights the adaptability and resilience of the Egyptians.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And this period of adaptation would prove crucial in the events that followed. It laid the groundwork for the eventual expulsion of the Hyksos
Okay.
and the rise of the new kingdom,
Right.
a period of unprecedented power and expansion for Egypt.
Wow.
But that's a story for the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, we've covered so much ground already.
Yeah.
From Mentuhotep II's reunification of Egypt
Yep.
to the flourishing of art, literature, and religion.
Right.
We've explored their incredible engineering projects,
Yes.
their complex political systems, and their profound spiritual beliefs.
Absolutely.
And now we've got the Hyksos on the scene,
Yeah.
shaking things up and introducing new military technologies that force the Egyptians to adapt.
Right.
What happens next?
Right.
How do they manage to turn the tide and drive out these invaders?
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
I bet you are.
Welcome back to our deep dive into ancient Egypt's Middle Kingdom.
It's great to be back.
We left off with a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Those Hyksos invaders, with their advanced weaponry, had taken control of part of Egypt,
Right.
bringing the Middle Kingdom to an end.
Right.
It felt like the end of an era.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that this wasn't the end of the story.
Right.
What happened next?
The spirit of the Egyptians, it wouldn't be so easily extinguished. Think of it.
Yeah.
This period of Hyksos rule, it inadvertently sparked a fire in the hearts of the Egyptians.
Okay.
A fire that would ultimately lead to their resurgence.
So how did they manage to turn the tables on the Hyksos? These were skilled warriors with superior technology.
The seeds of rebellion were sown in Thebes,
Okay.
a city in Upper Egypt.
Okay.
A new dynasty emerged.
Okay.
The 17th dynasty,
Okay.
determined to reclaim their land and heritage.
So these Theban rulers were the key to pushing back against the Hyksos.
Absolutely. These rulers weren't just strong.
Right.
They were clever.
Okay.
They recognized the strength of Hyksos military innovations.
Right.
Instead of simply trying to fight them with outdated tactics,
Yeah.
adapted.
So they learned from their enemies.
Yeah.
Adopted their technology.
Yeah.
And used it against them.
Exactly.
That's an amazing turn of events.
It's a testament to their resilience and adaptability. One key figure in this struggle was Senusret.
Senusret.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about him?
He was a courageous leader who rallied his people against the Hyksos. His reign was marked by fierce battles and a determination to reclaim Egyptian independence.
It sounds like he faced a formidable challenge.
He did.
And while he ultimately perished in battle,
Yeah.
his efforts were not in vain.
No.
Yeah.
He ignited the flames of rebellion and inspired future generations to fight for their freedom.
A true martyr for the cause.
Yeah.
So who picked up the torch after him?
Senusret's son, Hyksos, took up the mantle of leadership.
Hyksos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was even more audacious. He wasn't content with simply resisting.
Okay.
He went on the offensive,
Oh, wow.
launching a series of successful campaigns that pushed the Hyksos back towards their stronghold in the northern Delta region.
So they were slowly but surely reclaiming their land.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hyksos' reign saw significant victories, but sadly, he died before achieving complete victory.
So close yet, so far. It must have been a devastating loss.
Yeah, it was.
But the momentum he built couldn't be stopped.
Exactly.
So
His successor, Amos, finished the job.
Amos.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a brilliant military strategist. And under his command, the Egyptians decisively defeated the Hyksos,
Wow.
expelling them from Egypt once and for all.
Amos, the true liberator of Egypt.
Yeah.
His victory must have been a defining moment in Egyptian history.
Imagine the celebrations, the outpouring of national pride.
Yeah.
This triumph marked the end of the Second Intermediate Period and the dawn of a new era.
Right.
The new kingdom.
It's incredible to think that the Middle Kingdom, even though it was cut short by the Hyksos invasion,
Right.
ultimately laid the foundation for the rise of an even more powerful and influential Egypt.
It's a classic example of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right.
The challenges they faced during the Middle Kingdom,
Yeah.
including the Hyksos interlude, forced them to adapt, innovate, and ultimately emerge stronger than before.
As we wrap up our deep dive into the Middle Kingdom,
Yeah.
what are the key takeaways we should remember?
First and foremost,
Okay.
the Middle Kingdom was a vibrant era in its own right.
Right.
Not merely a transition between the Old and New Kingdoms.
Right.
It was a time of innovation, prosperity, and cultural brilliance.
We explored their political systems, their administrative skills, their economic advancements,
Yeah.
and their flourishing arts and literature.
Right.
And we can't forget about their mastery of engineering.
Right.
From draining swamps to constructing elaborate tombs,
Yeah.
they left an indelible mark on history.
The second key takeaway is that the Hyksos invasion,
Oh.
while initially a setback,
Right.
ultimately contributed to Egypt's future success. It forced them to adapt and develop their military capabilities,
Right.
leading to the expulsion of the invaders and the rise of the new kingdom.
It really highlights how a perceived weakness can be transformed into a strength, and that even in the face of adversity,
Yeah.
innovation and resilience can pave the way for a brighter future.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Finally, I think the Middle Kingdom serves as a reminder of the cyclical nature of civilizations. They rise, they fall, they adapt, they reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
The story of the Middle Kingdom is one of resurgence,
Right.
a testament to the enduring spirit of the Egyptian people.
Their story continues to captivate us thousands of years later.
It does.
It's a journey filled with political intrigue, remarkable achievements, and profound challenges.
Yeah.
But through it all,
Yeah.
their resilience shines through.
Absolutely.
And it leaves us with so many questions to ponder.
It does.
How would Egyptian history have unfolded if the Hyksos had never invaded?
Mm,
Would the new kingdom have risen in the same way?
it's hard to say.
Or would the trajectory of this ancient civilization been completely different?
Who knows?
It's a reminder that history is full of what-ifs, and that even seemingly insignificant events can have profound and lasting consequences.
Yeah,
Well, there you have it, folks.
that's it.
Another deep dive complete.
Yes.
We hope you enjoyed exploring the wonders of the Middle Kingdom with us.
It was a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning,
Yeah,
and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of history.
absolutely.